Good morning, artists. Mrs. Langless here with another remote art project for you today. Today we are going to be coming back to our work with making a rainbow. So last week we worked with the colors of the rainbow on a white piece of paper, and today we are going to be painting to create the sky behind our background using this really cool effect called crayon resist. So first, before we talk about that, let's remember what we worked on last week. So we worked on creating a beautiful rainbow, and what's important about making a rainbow is getting the colors in the correct order. If the colors aren't in the right order, then it doesn't really look like a rainbow. So we learned that we can use something called Roy G. Biv. Now, Roy G. Biv helps you to remember the orders of the colors. So let's take a look. R in Roy is for red. O is for orange. Y is for yellow. G is for green, blue, or B is for blue. I is for indigo. And remember, that color is a blue violet. So it's a very dark blue or navy blue. This is what it looks like. And then finally, the last color in the rainbow is V for violet. So altogether, that makes Roy G. Biv. And that's a great way to help you make a rainbow in the right order of colors. So last week, we created this rainbow using crayons. And crayons are really great for coloring because they have waxes and oils in them that make them sort of glide across the paper and give us those beautiful colors that we know. Today, we are going to paint using watercolor right over the top. We did a little bit of work with this back in the fall when we were working with leaves and crayon rubbing. And today, we're going to create the same effect. So, because crayons have waxes and oils in them, it creates kind of like a raincoat in this spot. So if you go out in the rain in a raincoat, do you get wet? No, you don't get wet. The water hits your raincoat and then kind of beads up and falls off. It does not soak in or absorb. The crayon creates sort of like a raincoat in this spot. Because of those oils and waxes, the paint can't soak into this spot. But instead, it creates sort of this really cool effect. See these little spots all over my rainbow? That is the paint kind of beading up because it can't soak in. And what's really cool about it is it sort of makes it look like it's raining. Now, we remember from last week, rainbows happen when sunlight is passing through raindrops. So it's kind of cool that we can make it look as though it's actually raining in our picture. All right, let's get started. So today what you'll need is your artwork from last week with your rainbow made with crayons. Next, you'll need some watercolors. And if you don't have any watercolor paints on hand, you can go ahead and color the sky with crayons too. That's fine. But it's really fun to see this effect. So if you do have paints, that would be wonderful. So I guess I'll put my paints right about here. And other than my paints, I need a cup of water and then just a paintbrush. And remember, a watercolor brush is a paintbrush that has very, very soft bristles. And it allows your brush to really hold on to a lot of water because water is really the main ingredient in watercolor paints. It says so right in the name, watercolor. So I want to make this look like a sky. So think about what color you would want to use. I'm going to use blue. So I know that in my paint tray, I have a couple of different blues. I have a blue violet here, like an indigo. I have another blue right here, and then I have another over here that's more of like a blue-green. So I may use all of them. I'm going to start with my blue violet at the top, and I'm just going to activate the paints by getting them wet. You can see the paint already on my brush. Now, I'm going to go ahead and begin at the top. I think I'm going to add a little bit more water. Now remember, the more water you add, the lighter the color will be, and the more paint you add, the brighter or darker the color will be. Okay? All right, so I'm going to start right at the top, and I'm just going to begin by painting maybe one stroke here across the top, and then maybe another. Now I'm going to come back and get more water just to make it get a little bit lighter. So take a look at my color and how it instantly gets like a little bit lighter of a blue, which is kind of cool. Now I'm going to go back and get more paint. So this is going to make my color get darker. Watch what happens when it connects with that other watery paint, and check it out. It's starting to make some really cool little marks on my rainbow that sort of look like rain. I'm going to come back, get more paint, and then pick up where I left off, and I'm going to continue going right over my rainbow because, again, it doesn't really soak in. Now, some of these lighter areas look really cool because they almost look like clouds, which is working out really well since I want this to look sort of like a sky. I'm going to come back and add more paint again. And then I'm just going to keep on going right across my rainbow. And it is so cool because it really is starting to look like little raindrops there across my rainbow. I'm going to get lighter again. Just add water. Look at that. That looks really cool. Oh, I've gone off camera. So let me scoot this up so that you can see what I'm seeing. There we are. Over here. Check this out. I can just keep going with my brush and the colors start to do really cool things. Watch this. I'm just going to place this down. Whoa, now it got way darker and I've gone all the way to my edge. I'm going to come back and actually just kind of play around with this a little bit. And then I'm going to come back over my rainbow. So you just kind of want your colors to move across your paper. Going to get some more water. Maybe scoot this over a bit so that you can start to see this side too. And come back and forth across the rainbow. I really like how it almost gives like a cool texture, the way that something feels, you know, right across my rainbow too. Like it's almost like bumpy because of those little beads of color that can't soak into the rainbow. And I'm going to keep on going all the way to the edge of my paper, and I can come back and touch up any areas that I'd like to. And I think I want to just touch up that little area right there, and look at that. So this is a pretty quick and easy process, but it leaves you with a really, really beautiful artwork when you are done. So this will need to dry, so just leave it in a spot where you don't have to move it for a while to allow it to dry, and then you're finished. One of the things that I didn't mention before, but I should have, is it's always a good idea to put another piece of paper. You'll notice I have a black piece of paper underneath just to protect whatever table surface you're working on. All right, guys, I hope you had fun with your rainbow and crayon resist today with your painting, and I will see you next week with another remote art project. Take care.